Hi, it's Dan with EUJUICERS.COM, coming to you as always from our offices here in the heart of Europe. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can juice soft fruit using the coarse screen on an Angel juicer. We've received a few requests from customers asking, how do you juice things like pineapple, strawberries, things like that in an Angel? See, the problem is with an Angel, you've got those twin gears. They're really close together, super tight tolerances, and there's just no room for pulp and things to kind of push out efficiently. What it means is that's great for firm produce like firm apples, carrots. You can push things through and get that maximum yield. But it could be a little trickier with soft fruits, especially things like what I have here. I'm going to be using pineapple, probably the trickiest thing to juice because of those long fibers in there, and also just the soft consistency. Those fibers can get tangled up in there, and the holes in the screen can get plugged up as well. Also going to be juicing some kiwi and some strawberries. Again, traditionally tricky things for an Angel. Now, the way we're going to get around it is by using this coarse screen. Coarse screen has much bigger holes than the fine screen. The downside of that means less yield, but for things like this, it's ideal. There's going to be less back pressure. That means the produce can get through the machine easier without backing up. It still might, we'll see, especially with things like pineapple. The other key to this is this thing here. This is the pusher with the silicone ring. What this does is form a seal, not quite airtight, but pretty close, and this will push things through and reduce liquids and even bits of pulp or juice from backing up in the feeding tube. Really just forces it through. So basically that's all I'm going to do. With this coarse screen, you're able to get these softer things through a little more efficiently. I'm going to mix these together. One tip I can offer you is if you're backing up when you're juicing with the coarse screen, even with the fine screen, I've got these here. You can do something like carrots, firm apples like these Granny Smith, put a piece of that in there and that will kind of clean things out. It'll pull some of those fibers out through there. So I'm going to start with the pineapple and then just mix in some of these other fruits and let's see how it goes. Now, something with pineapple, you want to make sure you get that core out of there. The core has the highest fiber content and it's most likely to clog an Angel. Also with these other things, with the kiwi, you can actually, if they're bio kiwis, you can leave the skin on. It should juice just fine. And the strawberries, you can also leave the stem on. I've cut off the stem on some, left the stem on some. I don't think I'm going to have to use these apples at all. The pineapple and everything's going through fine, so I'll save them for later. You'll notice a little bit of foam here on the top, and that's just normal with pineapple. You'll get that with most any juicer, especially a twin gear. They're running at 110 RPM, and it's just a byproduct of the pineapple. You can strain it out easily enough if you don't like it. So this is the last piece of pineapple. See how it goes. Yeah, it actually went fine. I've done a lot of pineapple using the fine screen, and typically about a fourth of the way through the pineapple, you need to stop and either clean it out or go really slow or put a carrot through or an apple or something. I was kind of surprised. This is my first time really testing the coarse screen. And it didn't back up. Right at the beginning, I put a piece of pineapple in, a real big piece that still had a lot of the core in, and I noticed that core piece sort of hanging in the feeding tube there, but eventually it got pulled through. I didn't do all the strawberries only because a little strawberry goes a long way, and strawberry gives you more of a puree. Basically for berries, we recommend using them as an add-on ingredient to an existing juice, like an apple juice or a carrot juice, as a flavoring. And the kiwis went through just perfectly, no backup at all. So that'll wrap it up. That's a look at the coarse screen on the Angel Juicer. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you've got any experience using the coarse screen, or even the homogenizing screen or the fine screen, we'd love to hear it too. Also, if you have some ideas for some other videos you'd be interested in, please let us know. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan with EUJUICERS.COM, and I'll see you next time.